The rain streaked down the windshield of Michael Green's sleek black Mercedes as he sat parked outside his suburban Seattle home. At 45, the seasoned criminal defense attorney was no stranger to betrayal. Years in courtrooms had hardened him to lies and deceit. But this was different. This was personal. His knuckles whitened around the steering wheel, his sharp gray eyes locked on the glowing windows of the house he'd built with Emily, his wife of 12 years. A week ago, an anonymous call had shattered his world. "She's cheating on you, man. Thought you should know." The voice, gravelly and clipped, had hung up before he could respond. Michael had been in Los Angeles, mid-trial, when a call came. He cut the trip short, claiming a family emergency, and raced back. Now, under the dim streetlights, he stepped out into the drizzle, the cool air hitting him like a slap. Something was off. A faint whiff of unfamiliar cologne lingered in the breeze. Not his crisp cedar scent, but something cheaper, muskier. His jaw tightened. Suspicion coiled in his chest like a snake ready to strike. Inside, Emily lounged on the living room couch, a glass of wine in hand, her auburn hair spilling over her shoulders. She jolted upright as he pushed the door open, her hazel eyes widening. "Michael, you're back early." Her voice pitched too high, a telltale crack in her composure. He didn't answer. His gaze swept the room. A throw pillow hastily straightened, a second wine glass tucked behind a plant. The cologne smell was stronger here. "Case wrapped up sooner than expected," he said flatly, dropping his keys on the counter. Emily forced a smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. "You should have called. I'd have made dinner." Her words hung in the air, fragile and fake. Michael's silence was a blade, cutting through her act. He turned toward the stairs, his polished shoes clicking on the hardwood. In their bedroom, the evidence screamed louder. The bed sheets, smooth but slightly askew, carried the faint imprint of two bodies. On the nightstand sat a watch, stainless steel, gaudy, not his. He picked it up, turning it over in his hands. A cheap engraving read, "To Jay, with love." His pulse thudded in his ears, but years of facing down murderers and liars kept him steady. Anger burned, sure, but something colder took root, resolve. Emily wouldn't get the satisfaction of a shouting match. No, he'd dismantle her life with the same precision he used to unravel witnesses on the stand. This wasn't about heartbreak anymore. It was about justice. Downstairs, Emily chattered nervously about her day at the marketing firm. Busy week, deadlines piling up. Michael nodded, pouring himself a scotch, letting her dig her hole deeper. "Late nights at the office?" he asked, voice smooth as glass. She faltered. Yeah, few. You know how it is." He sipped his drink, the amber liquid catching the light. He knew how it wasn't. That night, alone in his study, Michael dialed Ron Kelly, a private investigator he'd worked with on countless cases. The line crackled before Ron's gruff voice answered. "Mike, what's up? You sound off." Michael leaned back in his chair, staring at the framed photo of him and Emily on their honeymoon. Her laughing, him smitten. A relic of a lie. "I need you to tell Emily. She's stepping out on me." A pause. "Dom, man, I'm sorry." "You sure?" Michael's grip tightened on the phone. "I'm sure. Give me everything. Names, places, proof. This is personal." Ron exhaled. "You got it. I'll start tomorrow." Hanging up, Michael pulled his laptop closer and logged into their home security system. A few clicks later, he ordered discrete cameras, top of the line, hidden in smoke detectors and light fixtures. Upgrading the system, he'd tell her if she asked. She wouldn't. Emily never noticed the details, not like he did. By morning, he'd kissed her goodbye as usual, his lips brushing hers with practiced warmth. She smiled, oblivious, heading off in her too-tight blouse and heels that clicked too loudly for a marketing meeting. As the door shut behind her, Michael's mask dropped. He stood in the quiet house, the scent of that cologne still haunting the air. This wasn't just a betrayal, it was a challenge. And Michael Green didn't lose. Not in court, not in life. Emily had no idea what was coming. Michael Green sat in his dimly lit study, the glow of his laptop screen casting shadows across his angular face. The house was silent, save for the faint hum of the new security cameras he'd installed that morning. Emily had breezed out the door hours ago, her excuse about a late client dinner hanging in the air like a bad lie. Michael didn't care. He was already 3 steps ahead. On his desk, a tumbler of scotch sat untouched. He needed a clear head for this. His phone buzzed. It was Ron Kelly, the PI, his voice low and urgent. "Mike, you're not going to like this." I've got a name. Jake Reeves. 30, works at her firm. Junior marketing exec. They're at the Marriott downtown right now. Michael's jaw clenched, but his expression stayed ice cold. Jake Reeves. The watch on the nightstand flashed in his mind. To Jay, with love. It fit. What else? He asked, voice steady. Ron hesitated. He's slick, man. Charming type. But I dug deeper. Guy's got a past. Pulled a real estate scam in Portland 5 years back. Dodged jail by flipping on his partner. Slippery bastard. Michael's lips twitched into a grim half-smile. A con artiste. Perfect. Emily had picked a winner. Keep tailing them, he said. I want photos, timestamps, everything. Ron grunted. Already on it. You'll have a file by tomorrow. Hanging up, Michael leaned back, his mind racing. Jake's shady history was a gold mine. Leverage he could use later. For now, he focused on Emily. The cameras were live, synced to his phone. He tapped the app, pulling up the feed from the living room. Empty. She'd be home soon, spinning more stories. He'd play along, the doting husband, while building his case. Years of cross-examining liars had taught him patience. Let them trip over their own words. Emily was no different. The next day, she waltzed in at noon, all smiles and perfume, Jake's cologne clinging to her like a cheap badge. Morning, hun. Slept in after that dinner. Crazy night. Michael glanced up from his coffee, his gray eyes unreadable. Crazy, huh? How'd it go? She shrugged, tossing her purse on the counter. Oh, you know the usual. Pitching ideas, schmoozing clients. Her laugh was too loud, her hands fidgeting with her hair. Michael nodded, sipping his coffee. Sound exhausting. You should take it easy tonight. She didn't catch the edge in his tone. Maybe I will, she chirped, oblivious. That afternoon, Ron's email landed. A zip file labeled Reeves_0325. Michael opened it in his office at the firm, door locked. Photos spilled across the screen. Emily and Jake at the Marriott bar, her hand on his arm. The two slipping into an elevator, his smirk caught in high def. A grainy shot of them leaving a room at 2 a.m. Receipts followed. Bar tabs, a room charge on her company card. Sloppy. Michael's pulse quickened, but his hand stayed steady. This was ammo, enough to bury her in court. But the twist came in Ron's notes. Reeves has a fiancée. Met her last year. Lives in Tacoma. Michael froze. A fiancée? Emily wasn't just cheating. She was the side piece. The irony almost made him laugh. He dialed Ron. The fiancée, dig into her. I want to know if she's clueless or in on it. Ron chuckled. You're a cold one, Mike. I'll get back to you. As the call ended, Michael stared at the photo of Emily and Jake, her head tilted back in laughter. She thought she was untouchable. She was wrong. He spent the evening prepping, transferring funds from their joint account to a private one, just enough to cover legal fees without tipping her off. If she noticed, he'd blame a billing error. She wouldn't check. She never did. By nightfall, Emily's lies grew bolder. Heading to a team meeting, she said, slipping into a dress too tight for the office. Michael kissed her cheek, his smile a mask. Don't work too hard. She grinned and left, heels clicking. Minutes later, he watched the camera feed. Her car pulling out, headed downtown. Ron texted, Marriott again. Reeves is there. Michael didn't reply. He opened his laptop, drafting an email to his divorce lawyer, Claire Henshaw, a shark in a suit who'd gut Emily's case without breaking a sweat. Claire, it's time. I've got proof. Let's meet tomorrow. A new message popped up from Ron. Fiancée's name is Lauren Tate. Teacher. No clue about Emily. Clean record, stable life. Reeves is playing them both. Michael's eyes narrowed. Jake wasn't just a cheat. He was a predator. And Emily? She'd fallen for his game. Hook, line, and sinker. He could tip off Lauren, let her blow it all up, but no, that was too messy. He'd handle this his way. Clean, legal, devastating. As the rain tapped the windows, Michael poured another scotch, finally taking a sip. The pieces were falling into place. Emily and Jake thought they were clever. They had no idea who they were up against. Tomorrow, he'd tighten the noose, just a little more. The Seattle skyline glittered through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Michael Green's downtown law office. But his focus was elsewhere. At his desk, surrounded by case files, he reviewed the latest batch of evidence from Ron Kelly. The PI had outdone himself. More photos of Emily and Jake Reeves tangled in their affair. Kissing in a dimly lit restaurant, stumbling out of a cab, her lipstick smudged on his collar. A time-stamped video showed them entering the Marriott again, her laughter echoing as Jake's hand slid down her back. Michael's stomach churned, but his face remained a mask of steel. This wasn't about feelings anymore. It was a chess game, and he was about to checkmate. Ron's report had another bombshell. Jake's fiancée, Lauren Tate, was planning a surprise visit to Seattle next week. She texted Jake about it, clueless about his double life. Michael tapped a pen against his desk, considering his next move. He could send Lauren an anonymous tip, let her crash their little party, but that felt petty. No, he'd hit harder, expose Jake's lies without leaving fingerprints. He picked up his phone and called Ron. I need you to leak something to Jake's firm. Discreetly. His Portland scam. Make sure HR gets wind of it. Ron whistled. You're playing dirty, Mike. I like it. Consider it done. By noon, Michael met Claire Henshaw, his divorce lawyer, at a quiet cafe near the courthouse. She slid into the booth, her sharp eyes scanning him over her coffee cup. You look like hell, Michael, but I've seen worse. What V you got? He handed her a USB drive. Photos, receipts, video. Emily's been using company funds for her fling. And her boyfriend's a fraud, real estate scam on his record. Claire's lips curled into a predatory grin. This is a slam dunk. She'll be lucky to walk away with her clothes. You want blood? Michael's gaze was steady. I want justice. Fast and clean. She nodded. Papers will be filed by Friday. Back home, Emily's lies were unraveling. She breezed in that evening, her cheeks flushed, claiming a girl's night. Michael played along, stirring pasta on the stove. Fun time, he asked, voice casual. She giggled, twirling her hair. Oh, just gossip and wine. He plated her dinner, watching her dig in, oblivious to the storm brewing. The cameras caught her slipping out again later, dressed in a slinky black number. Ron's text followed, headed to Jake's place. He's at a condo near Pike Place. Michael smirked. She was getting reckless. Perfect. The next morning, chaos erupted. Jake's firm got an anonymous email, details of his Portland scam, backed by court records Ron had unearthed. By lunchtime, HR had him in a meeting, his career teetering. Michael didn't stop there. He tipped off a contact at Emily's company about her expense reports. Thousands funneled to hotel stays and dinners with Jake. Her boss called her in, voice icy over the phone. Michael overheard her panicked excuse from the kitchen. It's a misunderstanding. I'll fix it. She stormed out, slamming the door, unaware he'd lit the fuse. That night, Emily came home rattled, her composure cracking. Work's a mess, she muttered, pouring wine with shaky hands. Michael sat across from her, feigning concern. Rough day, she snapped. You wouldn't get it. Just leave it. He shrugged, hiding a flicker of satisfaction. The noose was tightening. Then came a twist. Ron called at midnight. Mike, you won't believe this. Lauren showed up early. Caught them at Jake's condo. She's losing it. Threw his stuff off the balcony. Michael sat up, adrenaline spiking. She confront Emily? Ron chuckled. Oh yeah, screaming match in the street. Neighbors called the cops. Michael pulled up the camera feed. Emily wasn't home yet. She stumbled in at 2 a.m., mascara streaking her face, hair a mess. Michael, she croaked, collapsing on the couch. I need to tell you something. He crossed his arms, towering over her. What's that? Her voice broke. I've been seeing someone. But it's over. He's a liar. I messed up. Tears spilled, but Michael didn't flinch. Jake Reeves, right? Her head jerked up, eyes wide with shock. How? He cut her off, voice like ice. I know everything, Emily. The hotels, the money, his fiancée. You're done. She lunged forward, grabbing his arm. Please, Michael. I'll end it. We can fix this. He shook her off, stepping back. You fixed it when you chose him. Pack your stuff. We're through. Her sobs filled the room as he walked away, leaving her crumpled on the floor. Upstairs, he emailed Claire. She confessed. Move forward. The game wasn't over. Not yet. Jake's downfall was accelerating, and Emily's world was about to collapse entirely. Michael poured a scotch, staring out at the rain-slicked city. He played his hand. Now he'd watch them fall. Michael Green stood in his Seattle home's kitchen, the morning sun slicing through the blinds. The house felt emptier now, Emily's absence a quiet victory. After her tearful confession 2 nights ago, she'd packed a bag and stormed out, muttering about staying with a friend. Michael hadn't flinched. He'd already changed the locks and emailed Claire Henshaw the update. She's out. Pushed the divorce hard. His gray eyes glinted with focus as he sipped his coffee, plotting the endgame. Emily thought she could beg her way back. She was wrong. This was check, not checkmate. Not yet. At his law firm, Michael's day hummed with routine, client meetings, depositions, but his mind stayed sharp on the bigger fight. Claire called at noon, her voice crisp. Papers are filed. Adultery, misuse of marital funds, the works. We got her cold, Michael. Court dates in 2 weeks. He nodded, staring out at the Puget Sound from his office window. Good. And Jake? Claire chuckled. His firm suspended him pending investigation. That Portland scam tip did the trick. He's radioactive now. Michael allowed himself a rare smile. One pawn down, but Emily wasn't done. By evening, she barged into his office unannounced, her auburn hair wild, eyes blazing. You can't do this, Michael, she shouted, slamming a manila envelope on his desk. He didn't flinch, leaning back in his chair. Do what exactly? She jabbed a finger at him. Ruin my life. I hired a lawyer, some hotshot from Bellevue. He says we can spin this. You've been controlling, distant. I'll say you drove me to it. Michael's gaze hardened, but his voice stayed calm. That's your play? Good luck selling that to a judge with hotel receipts and video. Her face twisted with desperation. I'll drag your name through the mud, Michael. Everyone will know you're a cold bastard who never loved me. He stood, towering over her. Go ahead, Emily. Tell the world. They'll believe the lawyer with a spotless record over the wife who stole from our accounts to fund her fling. She faltered, clutching the envelope. You don't get it. I'm fighting for what's mine. He stepped closer, voice low. What's yours ended when you chose Jake? Get out. She stormed off, but her threat lingered. Michael called Claire immediately. She's got a lawyer. Pushing a sob story, emotional neglect. Claire snorted. Let her try. We got hard evidence. She's got tears. I'll bury it. Reassured, Michael turned to his next move. Ron Kelly's latest report confirmed Jake's spiral. His fiancée, Lauren, had dumped him after the condo showdown, and his firm was close to firing him. Michael anonymously tipped off a local blogger, marketing ex-sex shady past exposed, ensuring Jake's reputation stayed toxic. That night, Emily escalated. She posted a cryptic rant on social media. Some men destroy you and call it justice. Truth soon. Friends texted Michael, alarmed. He ignored them, but the next morning, his assistant, Mia, rushed in. Boss, Emily's lawyer called the press. They're outside, want a statement. Michael glanced out his window, a news van, 2 reporters. He straightened his tie. No comment. Let them chase shadows. Claire rang seconds later. She's claiming coercion now. Says you forced her into bad choices. It's nonsense, but it's loud. Michael's calm cracked for a moment, anger flaring. Emily was flailing, but she could still smear him. He met Claire at the courthouse that afternoon, strategizing. She's got no proof, Claire said, flipping through files. But perception matters. We counter with the financials. Her spending proved she acted freely. Michael nodded. Do it. End this. As they worked, Ron texted, Jake's out. Firm canned him. Lauren's suing for fraud. Says he used her money too. Michael's lips twitched. The dominoes were falling. Back home, Emily showed up again, pounding on the door. Michael, open up. We need to talk. He watched her through the security feed, her face red with fury. She held a box, his old letters, photos, threatening to burn them. You'll regret this, she yelled. He didn't open the door. She dumped the box on the porch and left, tires screeching. Michael retrieved it later, unfazed. Sentimental blackmail wouldn't sway him. The next day, Claire called with news. Emily's lawyer slipped. Admitted on record she knew about Jake's past. Her coercion story's toast. We got her. Michael exhaled, tension easing. Emily's counterattack had backfired, her lies collapsing under their own weight. He poured a scotch, staring at the city lights. Jake was ruined, Emily was cornered, and the court loomed. One final push, and he'd be free. The end was close. He could taste it. The King County Courthouse loomed over downtown Seattle, its stone facade as unyielding as Michael Green felt inside. 2 weeks had passed since Emily's failed counterattack, and today was Judgment Day. At 45, Michael strode up the steps in a tailored navy suit, his gray eyes sharp with purpose. Claire Henshaw flanked him, her briefcase stuffed with evidence that would bury Emily's lies. Inside, the courtroom buzzed with anticipation. Reporters lingered in the back, drawn by Emily's public meltdown. Michael sat at the plaintiff's table, calm as ever, ready to end this. Emily slumped across the aisle, her auburn hair pulled into a messy bun, her face pale. Her lawyer, A slick Bellevue type named Greg Voss, whispered furiously in her ear, but she looked defeated already. The judge, a stern woman with wire-rimmed glasses, banged her gavel. "Let's begin." Claire stood first, her voice cutting through the room. "Your Honor, we present irrefutable proof of adultery and financial misconduct by Emily Green. Photos, videos, bank records. She siphoned marital funds for her affair with Jake Reeves, a known fraud." She laid out the timeline. Hotel receipts, company card charges, Emily's own confession caught on Michael's security feed. Greg Voss countered, his tone oily. "My client was coerced, emotionally neglected by Mr. Green. She acted under duress." The judge raised an eyebrow as Claire pounced. "No evidence supports that, Your Honor." Mrs. Green's lawyer admitted she knew of Reeves' criminal past. Her choices were her own. Voss stammered, caught off guard, while Emily's eyes darted to Michael, pleading silently. He didn't meet her gaze. The judge called a recess, and Claire smirked. "She's dumb, Michael." Voss just sank her. Outside, reporters swarmed. "Mr. Green, any comment on your wife's claims?" Michael brushed past. The truth speaks for itself. Back in session, the judge delivered her ruling. "Based on the evidence, I find Emily Green guilty of marital infidelity and misappropriation of funds. Mr. Green retains the home and primary assets. No alimony is awarded." Emily gasped, clutching the table, but Michael stayed stone-faced. Justice, not vengeance, had prevailed. As he left the courthouse, Emily caught up, grabbing his sleeve. "Michael, please, I've lost everything. Can't we just talk?" Her voice cracked, mascara streaking her cheeks. He pulled free, his tone flat. "You lost it the day you chose him, Emily. Live with it." She crumpled, sobbing, as he walked away, the weight of the past lifting off his shoulders. Reporters circled her instead, her humiliation now their story. Jake Reeves faced his own reckoning. Fired from his firm, sued by his ex-fiancée Lauren for fraud, he'd fled Seattle. Rumors pegged him at a rundown motel in Oregon, broke and alone. Michael didn't care. Jake was a footnote, a lesson in consequences. Back at the firm, colleagues clapped Michael on the shoulder. "You handled it like a pro," Mia, his assistant, said, eyes bright with admiration. He nodded, just doing what's right. That night, he poured a scotch in his quiet house, the silence a comfort now. Weeks later, life shifted. Emily faded from his orbit. Friends reported she'd moved to a cramped apartment, shunned by their old circle. Michael threw himself into work, his reputation soaring after the high-profile win. At a charity gala for a women's shelter, one he'd quietly funded for years, he met Allison Carter, a pediatrician with warm brown eyes and a sharp wit. They bonded over shared values, her laughter a balm to his scars. "You're not what I expected from a lawyer," she teased. He smiled, genuine this time. "Good. I'm more than that." A year passed. Michael and Allison grew close, their connection built on trust, not secrets. He sold the old house, too many ghosts, and bought a sleek condo overlooking the Sound. One evening, walking with Allison along the waterfront, he spotted Emily across the street. She sat alone on a bench, thinner, her eyes hollow. Their gazes met briefly. She looked away first, shame etched in her posture. Allison squeezed his hand. "You okay?" He nodded. "Yeah, just closing a chapter." Michael didn't gloat. Emily's ruin wasn't his goal. Freedom was. Her betrayal had forged him anew, stronger, wiser. With Allison, he found a future untainted by lies. At the firm, Mia thrived under his mentorship, now a junior associate. The shelter gala became an annual event, his quiet way of giving back. Emily had gambled and lost. Michael had fought and won, not with fists, but with integrity. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky gold, he walked on, the past a fading echo, the future wide open.